luxurious silk robes of emperors, the deaths of millions, and technological revolutions. What connects them? The Silk Road. For some, it brought wealth. For others, misfortune. And long before our time, it became the beginning of globalization. Stay with us to learn the full story of the Silk Road. The Great Silk Road was one of the key elements of international trade in the ancient world. This mostly overland trade network emerged in the 2nd century BC and lasted until the late Middle Ages. The Silk Road was a network of routes stretching thousands of kilometers across Eurasia. It became one of the first and most important international business networks in history, connecting the most famous ancient civilizations: Roman, Chinese, and Persian. In this episode, we will explain how the Silk Road became not just a trade artery, but also a channel of extraordinary interaction between civilizations and a medium for cultural exchange between East and West. You will learn how, along with ideas, beliefs, and technologies, this trade network also spread deadly disease, and how the Silk Road demonstrated the real possibilities of long-distance trade and contributed to the economic growth of Old World countries. The Silk Road. This familiar school-time name evokes images of caravans stretching across endless deserts and mountain passes, bundles of exotic goods, and encounters between cultures and worlds. Most people imagine the Silk Road as a single road from China to Rome. In reality, it was a complex network, a mosaic of routes connecting very different worlds: East Asia and Southern Europe, the Far East, and the Apennine Peninsula. For centuries, the Silk Road was the main artery of global trade. Chronologically, it spanned from the Han Dynasty to the rise of the Ottoman Empire. Geographically, it extended from the Gobi Desert to the very heart of the Mediterranean region. This is why, at the beginning of our story about its history, it is important to understand that it was not a single route, but an entire network of trade and cultural paths. They changed and evolved over time, disappearing and reappearing. The existence of the Silk Road covers a vast period, from the end of the 2nd century BC, when the Chinese first established contact with the West, up to the 15th century, when the Age of Discovery finally changed the rules of global trade. The beginning of the Silk Road is closely linked with the rise of Chinese civilization and the search for new markets. These markets include the Hellenistic states, the Parthian Empire, and later, the powerful Rome. It was between these centers that the history of a great trade network unfolded, serving for centuries as a bridge between East and West. In East Asia, the Chinese Han Dynasty sought to expand its influence westward, find allies to fight nomadic tribes, and acquire better horses for its army. In 138 BC, Emperor Wu of Han sent his envoy, explorer, and diplomat Zhang Chen on missions to Central Asia. Researchers usually mark this event as the starting point of the Silk Road. Zhang Qian's mission to the west did not immediately establish direct trade, but they laid the groundwork for it. His reports opened up new opportunities for the Chinese and provided knowledge about previously unknown routes. The Chinese took care to secure their trade routes and even expanded the Great Wall of China to protect them. Thanks to this monumental structure, they could repel attacks by nomads, while fortified border posts and garrisons collected taxes on goods transported by Silk Road merchants. Meanwhile, in the West, the rise of the powerful Roman Empire contributed to the emergence of another important terminus for the trade routes. Gradually, a single interconnected system formed, rapidly developing and linking East and West. An important bridge between China and Rome was the Iranian Parthian Empire, which provided the main connection between Central Asia and the Mediterranean region. The primary catalyst for the development of trade relations between the Han Dynasty and the Roman Empire was European demand for Chinese silk. Even before the 1st century AD, this exquisite fabric was extremely popular in Rome, Greece, and Egypt. Silk was valued for its vivid colors and luxurious appearance. Demand for it encouraged the early development of routes that would later be called the Silk Road. Incidentally, the term itself appeared much later, in the 19th century, coined by the German geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen. As mentioned, the Silk Road was not a single road. Rather, it was a complex network of closely connected routes stretching thousands of kilometers across deserts and steppes. Caravans traveled these routes with hundreds of horses and camels carrying countless goods. Journeys along the Silk Road could last months, and sometimes even years. Few merchants dared to travel the entire route from China to Rome on their own. As a result, goods changed hands several times, from one merchant to another. This made transportation more expensive, but also safer for traders. Each intermediary added their own markup, which increased the price of silk, spices, and other goods by the time they reached the buyer. The Silk Road consisted of several main routes. The most important began in Chang'an, the capital of the Han Dynasty. From there, caravans traveled west, crossing some of the largest and harshest deserts in the world, the Gobi and Taklamakan. The road ran along the southern edge of the Gobi and bypassed the Taklamakan from the north or south. From there, the route led through Central Asia, crossing the Tian Shan and Pamir mountain ranges. Afterward, the caravans entered the Parthian Empire, later replaced by the Sasanian Empire. Through these Iranian monarchies, the Silk Road reached Western Asia and the Mediterranean coast. From there, goods initially went to the Roman Empire, and after its fall to its successor, the Eastern Roman Empire, known to us as Byzantium. Along these overland routes were key oasis cities. They were centers of trade, cultural exchange, and diplomatic intrigue, and most importantly, essential stops for merchants and travelers. Kashgar was a major crossroad where different Silk Road routes converged. Samarkand, with its rich markets and magnificent architecture, became a key city in the central part of the route. Bukhara, known as a city of science and culture after the early Arab conquests, became one of the centers of the Islamic world. In addition to the main overland routes, maritime routes also developed actively, especially during the Middle Ages. By sea, it was possible to transport bulkier goods that were difficult to move over land. These sea routes passed through South China, then on to India and the Indian Ocean, entering the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea, and from there to the Mediterranean. In this way, they connected ports in East and Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Southern Europe. Besides silk, which gave the network its name, the Silk Road facilitated the exchange of many other goods. The constant flow of diverse trade items enriched the economies and cultures of dozens of old world countries. From east to west, merchants brought spices such as pepper, cloves, and cinnamon, as well as precious stones like lapis lazuli and jade. They transported furs, carpets, tea, porcelain, perfumes, and dyes, along with advanced technologies, which we will revisit shortly. On the return route from the West and the Middle East, merchants brought precious metals, silver and gold, as well as Mediterranean wine, olive oil, and honey. They also carried glass, cotton and linen fabrics, horses, metal goods, and weapons. There was even a kind of regional specialization, where each region supplied its most profitable goods. China provided silk, tea, porcelain, paper, and compasses. India exported gemstones, ivory, and spices. Central Asia was known for horses, carpets, furs, and rubies. The Middle East traded weapons, metal goods, and glass, while Europe supplied gold, silver, olive oil, and wine. Especially prestigious were the goods exchanged between China and ancient Rome. For wealthy Romans, Chinese silk symbolized luxury, while Chinese emperors and aristocrats adored Roman glass for its clarity and brilliance. In 22 AD, the Roman Emperor Tiberius even attempted to ban silk clothing as too luxurious and indecent. Nevertheless, his efforts were in vain. Fashion proved stronger than law. The Silk Road did not only carry material wealth. It became an artery of unprecedented cultural exchange and interaction among civilizations. Along with goods, merchants and travelers spread scientific discoveries, philosophical teachings, and religious ideas to distant lands. A vivid example is the spread of Buddhism, one of the oldest world religions. Originating in India, it traveled eastward along Asian trade routes through Central Asia to China, and from there to Korea and Japan. Monks and pilgrims carried ideas and sacred texts, built temples and monasteries, while Buddhism gradually merged with East Asian philosophies and cultures. Christianity, today the world's largest religion, also traveled along the Silk Road. Early Christians established communities and influenced the spiritual life of local populations across Asia. Although this faith never became dominant across the vast Asian territories, its followers left a significant mark. They created cultural and educational centers, translated the Bible into Persian and Chinese, and built monasteries and tombs that remain as archaeological sites. The rapid spread of Islam and the Arab conquest of the 7th and 8th centuries further accelerated cultural and intellectual exchange. The youngest of the world religions became a dominant force in the Middle East and Central Asia. Islamic scholars made significant contributions to medicine, astronomy, and mathematics, and their discoveries spread along trade routes. Alongside religion, technologies also traveled. Major Chinese inventions, paper, the compass, and gunpowder, eventually reached Europe via the Middle East, sparking genuine revolutions. The arrival of paper in Europe gave a powerful boost to education, science, art, culture, governance, and trade, and laid the groundwork for the invention of printing. The compass revolutionized maritime navigation, and gunpowder transformed warfare. Once in European hands, these inventions profoundly influenced political and military history. Meanwhile, the Mediterranean region contributed its own knowledge, particularly in astronomy and engineering. The Silk Road was used for centuries. It witnessed the development of civilizations, the rise and fall of empires, and major political upheavals. Wealth accumulated through trade contributed to the growth of cities and the strengthening of powerful states. Control over key Silk Road routes had enormous strategic significance, often leading to rivalry and wars. Thus, the Silk Road was also a stage for the struggles of powerful empires. For centuries, wars raged between the Romans and the Persians. The peak of these conflicts was the rivalry between Byzantium and the Sassanids for control over Middle East trade routes. Early Arab conquests and the establishment of the Umayyad Caliphate, which at its height stretched from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean along the southern and eastern Mediterranean coastlines, also affected the Silk Road. At the beginning of the 13th century, Genghis Khan founded one of the largest states in human history, the Mongol Empire, on the East Asian steppes. It became the largest contiguous land empire. The Great Khan and his successors quickly unified vast territories of Eurasia under their rule and gained control over a significant portion of the Silk Road, effectively turning the main overland routes into internal trade arteries of their empire. The Mongol conquests were generally devastating, causing an estimated 30 to 40 million deaths. Yet, unified control over the Silk Road provided a period of relative stability in the region, protected merchants, and served as a foundation for the intensification of intercontinental trade and travel. It was during this period that the famous Phoenician traveler Marco Polo, the author of the Book of the Marvels of the World, set out from Europe to China, leaving invaluable accounts of life in the East. Meanwhile, the Arab traveler Ibn Battuta, who journeyed farther than any other explorer of this time, visited a significant portion of the Silk Road during the first half of the 14th century: the Arabian Peninsula, Iran, Central Asia, India, and China. Nonetheless, the Silk Road brought not only economic prosperity and cultural exchange, but also political conflict. Intense contacts and flourishing trade also had a dark side. The expansion of trade routes facilitated the rapid spread of diseases. The most horrific example was the Black Death, the second plague epidemic, which in the mid-14th century felt like the end of the world for Europeans. According to historians, this deadly infection originated in Asia, possibly China, the Middle East, or Central Asia. Through the Silk Road's overland and maritime routes, caravan paths and seaports, the bubonic plague reached Europe, causing massive social and economic upheavals and killing 30 to 60% of the continent's population. The Black Death almost brought Silk Road trade to a halt. By the early 15th century, the importance of the Silk Road gradually declined. In addition to the long-term effects of the plague pandemic, two other factors played a role. First, the development of maritime trade in the Mediterranean, which was cheaper and safer than long overland journeys through Asia and allowed for the easier transport of bulky goods. Second, the fall of Constantinople in 1453. Byzantium was ultimately replaced by the Ottoman Empire, which began to compete for overland routes and restrict trade between Europe and Asia. European kingdoms sought to bypass the Ottomans and other intermediaries to gain direct access to Asian markets and gain an advantage over competitors. This motivated Europeans to seek the alternative trade routes and go on the exploration journeys. This is exactly how the age of discovery, colonial expansion, and global trade began. In search of a western route to India, Genoese explorer Christopher Columbus, in the service of Spain, accidentally discovered America in 1492. A few years later, Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama sailed around Africa and found a sea route to India. The discovery of new maritime routes radically changed traditional trade networks in the Old World, which lost their leading significance. New routes emerged, leading to South Asia along the African coast and across the Atlantic to the New World. The Silk Road, already gradually losing its importance, finally declined and became a historical legacy. The Silk Road was an extraordinary trade network that played a decisive role in shaping the world we live in. It also demonstrated the profound impact trade can have on societies and intercultural exchange. From desert caravans to ships in Mediterranean ports, the Silk Road was the main artery, the key trade network, for a millennium and a half, from China's Han Dynasty to the Age of Discovery. But it is not only a story of profitable and long-lasting trade. The Silk Road showed that nations and peoples do not exist in isolation. They are connected by goods, ideas, religions, technologies, scientific knowledge, and even pandemics. Its history reminds us that humanity has always sought contact and exchange, interaction and understanding. And in this desire lies the essence of human nature. The legacy of the Silk Road remains alive today, in every architectural monument blending East and West, in Asian cities that were once trading oases and now impress with the grandeur of the past. The Silk Road became a symbol of global interaction long before the term globalization existed. In the 21st century, this idea has taken a new form. China's Belt and Road Initiative, launched under the leadership of Xi Jinping, aims to revive and expand the vision of this ancient trade route. This ambitious project involves creating modern infrastructure to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa, and stimulate broad economic cooperation, encompassing both overland routes and a maritime Silk Road. Today, the term New Silk Road refers to several large infrastructure projects, including the Eurasian Land Bridge, a railway route for overland freight transport connecting Pacific ports in the Far East with Mediterranean ports in Europe and Africa. The international community recognizes the special significance of the Silk Road. In 2014, UNESCO added the Chang'an-Tian Shan corridor to the World Heritage Sites list, and in 2023, the Zarafshan-Karakum corridor. These are not only architectural landmarks, but also living witnesses to the grand history of humanity and the legacy of the Silk Road.